Every experience, every circumstance, every person you encounter is but a reflection of your inner state. And it is through the power of your imagination that you shape this world. When I say shut up when you are happy, I'm not speaking of busy islands, but rather of a profound inner stillness. It is the quieting of that incessant voice within you that constantly chatters about your current circumstances, your worries and your doubts. This inner voice, my dear friends, is the very thing that keeps you tethered to your present reality, preventing you from stepping in that future you desire. Consider for a moment, have you ever achieved a goal, experienced a moment of pure joy, only to have that feeling quickly dissipated by thoughts of what's next, or this won't last? This, my friends, is the chatter I'm referring to. It is the noise that drowns out the whispers of your divine imagination. When you learn to shut up in these moments of happiness, you are not merely enjoying a fleeting emotion. You are, in fact, entering a state of consciousness that is in perfect alignment with your desires. This state of being is the very foundation upon which your future experiences will be built. Imagine, if you will, that you have just received wonderful news. Perhaps you've been offered your dream job, or you've just met the love of your life. In that moment of pure elation, your entire being is vibrating at a frequency of joy and fulfillment. This is the precise moment when you must learn to shut up. But what does it mean to shut up in this context? It means to fully inhabit that feeling of joy, to marinate in it, to let it permeate every fiber of your being without allowing to rub or to race ahead to potential problems or doubts. It means to silence the voice that says yes, but, and instead to simply be in that perfect state of happiness. You see, my dear friends, this state of pure, unadulterated happiness is your natural state. It is the state from which all of your desires spring forth. When you can learn to dwell in this state, to shut up and simply be happy, you are aligning yourself with the very source of creation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I be happy when my current circumstances are less than ideal? And to this I say, your circumstances do not dictate your state of being. It is your state of being that dictates your circumstances. Remember, the world you see around you is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. If you persist in a state of happiness, regardless of your current circumstances, those circumstances must change to reflect your inner reality. This is the law of consciousness, as immutable as the law of gravity. Let me share with you a simple technique to practice this principle. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Perhaps it's a conversation with a friend where you're sharing your joy about your new circumstances. Feel the happiness, the excitement, the gratitude that would accompany this scene. Now, here's the crucial part. As you open your eyes and return to your current reality, maintain that feeling of joy and fulfillment. Do not allow your mind to immediately begin listing all the reasons why this imagined scene cannot be true. This is what it means to shut up when you are happy. You see, my friends, your imagination is the very gateway to the realm of infinite possibilities. When you imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, you are not merely daydreaming or fantasizing. You are, in fact, experiencing a reality that already exists in potential form. The power of your consciousness is such that it can collapse these infinite potential into your physical reality. But this can only happen when you learn to shut up and maintain that state of joy and fulfillment, even in the face of contrary evidence in your physical world. Consider the biblical phrase, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness, this shutting up, is not a passive state of inaction. It is rather a profound acknowledgement of the creative power within you. It is a recognition that the I am within you is the very source of all creation. When you shut up and maintain your state of happiness, you are declaring to the universe, I am that which I desire to be. And the universe, which is nothing more than an outpicturing of your consciousness, has no choice but to conform to this declaration. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how long must I maintain this state? How long must I shut up before I see results in my physical reality? And to this, I say time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of consciousness where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your job is not to worry about when or how your desire will manifest. Your job is simply to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled, to shut up when you are happy, to dwell in that state of joy and fulfillment, knowing with absolute certainty that what you have imagined must come to pass. Remember, my dear friends, that creation is finished. All possible states already exist. Your job is not to create your desire, but to simply step into the state where your desire is already fulfilled. And you do this by shutting up when you are happy, by maintaining that state of joy and fulfillment, regardless of what your physical senses may be telling you. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Imagine a man who desires financial abundance. He may look at his current bank balance and feel despair. But if he understands the principle we're discussing today, he will shut up in that moment of despair. Instead, he will imagine a scene that implies his financial abundance. Perhaps he imagines looking at his bank statement and seeing a balance that far exceeds his current reality. He feels the joy, the relief, the excitement that comes with this newfound abundance. And here's the crucial part. As he opens his eyes and returns to his current reality, he maintains that feeling of abundance. He shuts up when he's happy. He doesn't allow his mind to immediately begin listing all the reasons why this financial abundance is impossible. He doesn't just planning how he'll make it happen. He simply dwells in the state of the wish fulfilled, knowing that his outer world must conform to his inner state. This, my friends, is the true meaning of faith. It is not a blind belief in something outside of yourself. It is an absolute knowing that what you have imagined must come to pass because you have aligned yourself with the creative power of the universe. Now let's delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain this state of happiness, this inner quietude in the face of a world that seems to constantly challenge your desired state? The key lies in understanding that your reactions to external events are entirely within your control. When circumstances arise that seem to contradict your desired state, you have a choice. You can allow these circumstances to pull you out of your state of happiness, or you can choose to shut up and maintain your enjoy. This doesn't mean ignoring your current reality or living in denial. It means understanding that your current reality is nothing more than a shadow of past thoughts and beliefs. By maintaining your state of happiness, you are casting a new shadow, creating a new reality that must conform to your inner state. Consider the story of Job in the Bible. Despite losing everything, Job maintained his faith. He shut up in the face of adversity, refusing to let his circumstances dictate his inner state. And in the end, his reality conformed to his unwavering faith. You, my dear friends, are faced with this same choice every moment of every day. Will you allow the circumstances of your life to dictate your inner state? Or will you choose to shut up when you're happy, to maintain that state of joy and fulfillment, regardless of what your senses are telling you? Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no power to create or to destroy. It is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. When you truly understand this, you will see that there is nothing to fear in your external reality. It is clay in your hands, ready to be molded by the power of your consciousness. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just ignoring reality? And to this I say, this is far more than positive thinking. This is about understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. You see, what you call reality is nothing more than a consensual hallucination. It is a shared dream that we all participate in. But just as you can change the course of a dream by becoming aware that you're dreaming, you can change the course of your life by becoming aware of your true nature as the dreamer of your reality. When you shut up when you're happy, when you maintain that state of joy and fulfillment, regardless of your circumstances, you are not ignoring reality. You are creating a new reality. You are exercising your divine right as a co-creator of the universe. Let me share with you another technique to help you practice this principle. Throughout your day, pause periodically and ask yourself, how would I feel if my desire were already fulfilled? Then, allow yourself to fully experience that feeling. Shut up and dwell in that state of happiness, even if only for a few moments. As you practice this, you'll find that it becomes easier to maintain this state for longer periods. You'll find yourself naturally shutting up when you're happy, dwelling in that state of fulfillment more and more often. And as you do this, you'll begin to notice changes in your outer world. At first, these changes may be small. Perhaps you'll notice more synchronicities in your life, more lucky coincidences. But as you persist in your new state, these changes will become more profound. You see, my friends, the universe has no choice but to conform to your inner state. When you consistently maintain a state of joy and fulfillment, your outer world must rearrange itself to match this inner reality. This is the law of consciousness, and it is absolute. Now, let's address another question that may be arising in your minds. Neville, you may be thinking, what about out action? Don't we need to take action to achieve our desires? And to this I say inspired action will naturally flow from your new state of being. When you shut up, when you're happy, when you dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. From this aligned state, you will naturally be inspired to take actions that support the manifestation of your desire. But here's the crucial difference. These actions will not come from a place of lack or need. They will not be driven by fear or desperation. Instead, they will flow naturally and effortlessly from your state of joy and fulfillment. You see, when you truly embody the state of the wish fulfilled, when you shut up and maintain that inner happiness regardless of your circumstances, you begin to see opportunities that were always there but were previously invisible to you. It's as if you're tuning into a different frequency. Just as a radio can only pick up the stations it's tuned to, your consciousness can only perceive the opportunities that align with your inner state. When you maintain a state of joy and fulfillment, you naturally tune into the frequency of abundance and opportunity. Let me give you another example to illustrate this principle. Imagine a woman who desires a loving relationship. She may look at her current circumstances and feel lonely. But if she understands the principle that we're discussing today, she will shut up in that moment of loneliness. Instead, she will imagine a scene that implies she is in a loving relationship. Perhaps she imagines introducing her partner to her friends, feeling the joy and contentment of being in a loving partnership. And here's the crucial part. As she opens her eyes and returns to her current reality, she maintains that feeling of being loved and in a relationship. She shuts up when she's happy. She doesn't allow her mind to immediately begin listing all the reasons why the relationship is impossible. She doesn't start planning how she'll meet someone. She simply dwells in the state of the wish fulfilled, knowing that her outer world must conform to her inner state. Now, from this state of being in a loving relationship, she may be inspired to join a new club or attend a social event. But she doesn't do this out of desperation to meet someone. She does it because it binds with a new state of being. And because she's operating from this state of fulfillment, she naturally attracts experiences that match this state. This, my dear friends, is the true power of shutting up when you're happy. It's not about forcing yourself to feel positive emotions when you're feeling down. It's about recognizing those moments of genuine happiness, those glimpses of your desired state, and learning to dwell in them. It's about understanding that these moments of happiness are not just fleeting emotions, but glimpses of your true nature. They are windows into the reality that already exists for you in potential form. Your job is simply to step into that reality by maintaining that state of happiness. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, what about the suffering in the world? Isn't it selfish to focus on my own happiness when there's so much pain around me? And to this I say, your joy is not separate from the joy of the world. In fact, by maintaining your state of happiness, you are contributing to the elevation of consciousness for all of humanity. You see, we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. When you elevate your own state, you are elevating the state of the inhuman collective. Your joy ripples out into the world, affecting everyone and everything around you in ways you may not even be aware of. Moreover, when you operate from a state of joy and fulfillment, you are in a much better position to help others. Think about it. Who is better equipped to lift others up, someone who is mired in misery and lack, or someone who is radiating joy and abundance? By shutting up when you're happy, by maintaining that state of joy and fulfillment, you become a beaconlet of light in the world. You inspire others not through your words, but through your very being. You demonstrate the possibility of living from a state of joy regardless of circumstances. Let's delve even deeper on this concept. When I say shut up when you're happy, I'm not suggesting that you should never express your joy or share your good fortune with others. Rather, I'm urging you to shut up the doubting voice within, the voice that seeks to diminish your joy or question its validity. You see, many of us have been conditioned to believe that we don't deserve happiness, that it's somehow wrong or selfish to feel joyful when others are suffering. But this belief is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the mutual reality. Joy is your natural state. It is the state from which all creation springs forth. When you allow yourself to fully experience and dwell in this state, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are fulfilling your divine purpose as a co-creator of reality. Now let's address another aspect of this principle. Some of you may be wondering, but Neville, what about gratitude? Aren't we supposed to express gratitude for good things in our lives? And to this I say gratitude, God, of thanking an external force for the good in your life. It is about recognizing that you are the source of all that you experience. When you shut up when you're happy, when you dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, without questioning or doubting, or expressing the highest form of gratitude, you are acknowledging your oneness with the creative power of the universe. You are recognizing that the good in your life is not something given to you by an external force, but a manifestation of your own divine nature. This understanding transforms the way you approach gratitude. Instead of saying thank you for this blessing, you simply dwell in the state of having that blessing, knowing that it is a natural expression of your true self. This is shutting up when you're happy in its purest form. Let me share with you another technique to help you practice this principle. Throughout your day, whenever you experience a moment of joy or satisfaction, no matter how small, pause and fully inhabit that feeling. Don't immediately rush to the next thing. Don't allow your mind to start planning or worrying. Simply be in that state of happiness. As you practice this, you'll find that these moments of joy become more frequent and more prolonged. You'll begin to notice the abundance of happiness that already exists in your life. And as you dwell in these states of happiness, you'll find that your external reality begins to shift to match your inner state. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what about when bad things happen? How can I shut up and be happy when I'm facing real challenges? And to this I say, remember that what you perceive as bad is mere judgment based on your current perspective. Every experience, every circumstance in your life is an opportunity to practice this principle. When faced with a challenging situation, instead of reacting with fear or anger, pause and ask yourself, how would I feel if this situation were already resolved in the best possible way? Then shut up and dwell in that feeling of relief and satisfaction. You see, by doing this, you are not denying the current circumstances. You are simply choosing to align yourself with the solution rather than the problem. You are shutting up the voice of fear and doubt and instead dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. This doesn't mean that you ignore the situation or fail to take appropriate action. It means that you take action from a state of confidence and assurance, knowing that the solution already exists. This is the power of shutting up when you're happy, even in the face of apparent adversity. Let's explore this concept further. When you shut up, when you're happy, you are essentially entering a state of allowing. You are allowing your desires to manifest without resistance. You are aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation. Think of it like this: the universe is constantly offering you everything you'd ever. It's like a cosmic buffet, laden with all the experiences, relationships, and abundance you could ever want. But if you're constantly chattering about what you lack, about your worries and doubts, you're effectively pushing away from this buffet. When you shut up, when you're happy, you're pulling up a chair to this cosmic buffet. You're saying, yes, I'll have that, and that too. You're allowing the abundance of the universe to flow into your life without resistance. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, doesn't this mean we should suppress our negative emotions? Isn't it important to acknowledge and process our feelings? And to this I say, acknowledging your emotions is important, but dwelling in negative states is not necessary for processing them. You see, every emotion is simply feedback. It's information about your current alignment with your desires. When you feel negative emotions, it's an indication that you're focusing on what you don't want rather than what you do want. The solution is not to dwell in these negative states, but to shift your focus back to what you desire. This is where the practice of shutting up when you're happy becomes so powerful. By consciously choosing to dwell in positive states, even for short periods, you're training yourself to align with what you want. You're building new neural pathways that make it easier and easier to maintain these positive states. Let me give you another example to illustrate this principle. Imagine a man who desires better health. He may look at his current physical condition and feel discouraged. But if he understands the principle we're discussing today, he will shut up in that moment of discouragement. Instead, he will imagine a scene that implies his perfect health. Perhaps he imagines effortlessly running a marathon, feeling the strength and vitality in his body. And here's the crucial part. As he opens his eyes and returns to his current reality, he maintains that feeling of health and vitality. He shuts up when he's happy. He doesn't allow his mind to immediately begin listing all the reasons why level of health is impossible. He doesn't start worrying about his current symptoms or planning a rigorous health regimen. He simply dwells in the state of perfect health, knowing that his outer world must conform to his inner state. Now, from this state of perfect health, he may be inspired to make different food choices or to engage in physical activities. But he doesn't do this out of fear or desperation. He does it because it aligns with his new state of being. And because he's operating from this state of health and vitality, he naturally attracts experiences that match this state. This, my dear friends, is the transformative power of shutting up when you're happy. It's about recognizing that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. By maintaining a state of joy and fulfillment, you are literally reshaping your reality. Now, let's address another important aspect of this principle. Some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how do I maintain this state of happiness when I'm surrounded by negativity? How do I shut up and stay happy when others are constantly complaining or spreading fear? And to this, I say, remember that you are the operant power in your reality. The thoughts and emotions of others have no power over you unless you give them that power. When you shut up when you're happy, you are declaring your independence from the collective consciousness of lack and limitation. This doesn't mean you become insensitive to the struggles of others. It means you maintain your state of joy and fulfillment as a gift to those around you. You become a living example of the possibility of happiness regardless of circumstances. Think of it like this. If you were in a dark room with a group of people, Would it be more helpful to join them in complaining about the darkness or to light a candle? When you shut up when you're happy, you are lighting that candle. You are illuminating the possibility of joy for everyone around you. Let's delve even deeper into this concept. When you shut up when you're happy, you are essentially entering a state of faith. Not faith in an external power, but faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. You see, faith not about believing in something despite evidence to the contrary. True faith is about knowing that what you desire must come to pass, because you have aligned yourself with the creative power of the universe. When you shut up when you're happy, when you maintain that state of joy and fulfillment regardless of your current circumstances, you are exercising this type of faith. You are declaring to the universe, I know that what I desire is already mine in the realm of infinite possibilities, and I choose to dwell in that reality now. This type of faith is unshakable because it's not based on external circumstances. It's based on your understanding of the fundamental nature of reality. It's based on your recognition of your true identity as the operant power in your world. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just magical thinking? How can simply feeling happy change my external reality? And to this I say, what you call magical thinking is simply a recognition of the true nature of consciousness. You see, consciousness is the only reality. What you perceive as your external world is nothing more than a projection of your consciousness. When you change your inner state, you are literally changing the projection. This is not magic. This is the fundamental law of creation. Let me give you one final example to illustrate this principle. Imagine a woman who desires to advance in her career. She may look at her current job situation and feel stuck. But if she understands the principle we're discussing today, she will shut up in that moment of frustration. Instead, she will imagine a scene that implies her career advancement. Perhaps she imagines receiving congratulations from her colleagues on her new position. And here's the crucial part. As she opens her eyes and returns to her current reality, she maintains that feeling of success and accomplishment. She shuts up when she's happy. She doesn't allow her mind to immediately begin listing all the reasons why this career advancement is impossible. She doesn't start stressing about how to make it happen. She simply dwells in the state of career success, knowing that her outer world must conform to her inner state. Now, from this state of career success, she may be inspired to take on new projects or to network with certain individuals. But she doesn't do this out of desperation or fear of missing out. She does it because it aligns with her new state of being. And because she's operating from this state of success, she naturally attracts opportunities that match the state. This, my dear friend, is the true power of shutting up when you're happy. It's about recognizing those moments of alignment with your desires, those glimpses of your ideal state, and learning to dwell in them. It's about understanding that these moments of happiness are not just fleeting emotions, but windows into the reality that already exists for you in potential form. Your job is simply to step into that reality by maintaining that state of happiness, by shutting up the doubting voice, the voice of lack and limitation, and instead dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. As we come to the close of our discussion, I want to leave you with this final thought. The power to shape your reality lies within you. It always has, and it always will. When you shut up, when you're happy, when you learn to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are claiming this power. You are declaring to the universe, I am that which I desire to be. And the universe, which is nothing more than an outpicturing of your consciousness, has no choice but to conform to this declaration. So, my dear friends, I urge you, shut up when you're happy. Dwell in that state of joy and fulfillment. Maintain it regardless of what your senses may be telling you. For in doing so, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are stepping into your true identity as the author of your reality. Remember, creation is finished. All possible states already exist. Your job is not to create your desire, but to simply step into the state where your desire is already fulfilled. And you do this by shutting up when you're happy, by maintaining that state of joy and fulfillment, regardless of what your physical senses may be telling you. Go forth, my friends, and practice this principle. Shut up when you're happy. Dwell in the state of the wish fulfillment, and watch as your world transforms to match your inner reality. For you are the operant power, the author of your life story. Write it well, with joy and with the unwavering faith that comes from understanding your true nature as a divine creator. The one thing you must stop doing, the very thing that pushes success away from you, is living in the consciousness of lack. Now let me tell you what I mean by this, for it is of paramount importance. Every moment of your day, you are either living in the consciousness of lack or the consciousness of abundance. There is no middle ground, no neutral state of being. When you declare, I want success, you are actually affirming its absence. When you say, I need more money, you are dwelling in the consciousness of not having enough. When you proclaim, I wish I was successful, you are living in a state of wanting rather than having. Do you see the subtle yet crucial difference? Let me share with you a principle that I have tested and proven countless times. The outside world is nothing more than the objectification of your inner assumptions. Whatever you are experiencing now, be it lack or abundance, is the direct result of your accepted beliefs about yourself and the world. Tonight, I will show you how to move from the consciousness of lack to the consciousness of fulfillment, from the state of wanting to the state of having, from the condition of seeking to the condition of being. Consider this. When you say, I want success, you are placing success outside of yourself, making it something to be attained rather than something to be expressed. This is the fundamental error that keeps pushing success away from you. Success is not something to be pursued. It is a consciousness to be assumed. Let me tell you a story from my own experience. Many years ago, I knew a man who constantly spoke about wanting to be successful. He would say, when I become successful, I will. And then list all the things he would do. Year after year, success eluded him. Why? Because he was living in the consciousness of wanting success rather than being successful. Then one day he heard what I'm telling you now. He realized that as long as he lived in the consciousness of wanting success, he would continue to experience the want of success. That very night, he made a fundamental shift in his consciousness. Instead of saying, I want success, he began to live from the consciousness of being successful. He would fall asleep each night feeling the naturalness of being successful. He would walk through his day experiencing the feeling of being successful. He made this his new normal state of consciousness. Now pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you, for this is the crux of the matter. Success is not a future event. It is a present state of consciousness. The feeling of being successful now is the secret of experiencing success in what you call the future. When you live in the consciousness of lack, saying things like, I need more money, I want better relationships, I wish I had more opportunities, you are actually reinforcing the very state that keeps these things from you. You are dwelling in the consciousness of absence, and the law of consciousness dictates that what you assume, you must express. Let me show you how to make this fundamental shift in consciousness. First, you must understand that your imagination is not a tool for daydreaming about what you want. It is the very substance of reality itself. When I speak of imagination, I am speaking of your consciousness, your I amness. The Bible tells us, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not mere poetry, it is a practical instruction in the art of consciousness transformation. When you continue to live in the consciousness of lack, you are using your imagination, your creative power, to perpetuate the very condition you wish to change. Consider this profound truth. Everything in your world is pushing against you with the force of your own assumption. If you assume lack, the whole world will prove you right. If you assume abundance, the same world will reorganize itself to prove that assumption. Now, let me give you a practical technique to stop living in the consciousness of lack. Tonight, when you go to bed, instead of reviewing your day of wanting and seeking success, you will enter into a new state of consciousness. You will feel as though you are already successful. But remember, this is not mere positive thinking or affirmation. This is a complete assumption of the state of consciousness of being successful. Feel its naturalness. Feel how it would feel to be the person you desire to be. Feel the satisfaction, the contentment, the gratitude that would be yours if you were already expressing success. Many of you are thinking, but Neville, how can I feel successful when my current reality shows me the opposite? This is where most people remain trapped in the consciousness of lack. They allow their current circumstances to dictate their inner state. Let me tell you something remarkable. Your present circumstances are nothing more than the harvest of your previous assumptions. They have no power to determine your future unless you give them that power by accepting them as final. Think about this. Every great achievement in human history began with someone who dared to assume a state that their senses denied. Every invention, every discovery, every advancement started in the imagination of someone who refused to accept current circumstances as final. The one thing you must stop doing is allowing your present facts to determine your inner conversations. Your inner conversations are your actual state of consciousness. When you say, I can't afford it, it's too difficult, I'm not qualified enough, you are having inner conversations that perpetuate the state of lack. Instead, you must begin new inner conversations based on the assumption of already being what you desire to be. When you walk, you must walk with the feeling of being successful. When you talk, you must talk from the consciousness of being successful. When you work, you must work from the state of being successful. Let me share with you a profound secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. Whatever you are feeling as true about yourself right now is creating your future experiences. If you are feeling the frustration of wanting success, you are creating more experiences of wanting success. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. When I tell you to live in the consciousness of success rather than the consciousness of lack, I am not suggesting mere mental gymnastics. I am revealing to you the very foundation of creation itself. Consider this every night before you sleep. Your consciousness is in a state of high receptivity. This is the time when the seed of your assumption will take root most deeply. Instead of falling asleep feeling the frustration of what you don't have, fall asleep in the consciousness of already having what you desire. Let me give you a specific technique. As you lay in your bed, close your eyes and ask yourself this question. How would I feel if I were expressing the success I desire? Then let that feeling envelop you completely. Feel the satisfaction, the contentment, the absolute knowing that success is not something you're seeking, but something you're expressing right now. Remember, the subconscious mind accepts as true whatever you feel to be true. It doesn't argue, it doesn't question, it simply accepts and then proceeds to express that acceptance in your outer world. This is why feeling is the secret. Many of you have been told that you must work hard, struggle, and sacrifice to achieve success. But I tell you, these are the very assumptions that keep you bound to the consciousness of lack. Success is not achieved through effort. It is expressed through assumption. Think about this. When you assume the feeling of success, you are actually moving into a different state of consciousness. In this new state, opportunities that were always there but invisible to your previous state of consciousness suddenly become visible and available to you. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Everything you perceive is an expression of your own consciousness. Therefore, when you live in the consciousness of lack, the whole world conspires to show you lack. When you live in the consciousness of success, the same world reorganizes itself to show you success. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something? Yes, but your actions must spring from the consciousness of already being successful, not from the consciousness of trying to become successful. Do you see the difference? When you act from the consciousness of lack, your actions are tinged with anxiety, doubt, and the energy of seeking. But when you act from the consciousness of already being successful, your actions flow naturally, effortlessly, inspired by the very state you have assumed. Consider this: success is not a destination. It is a state of consciousness. Just as you can move from one room to another in your physical home, you can move from one state of consciousness to another in your spiritual home. The move is accomplished not by physical effort, but by assumption. Let me tell you something profound. The state of consciousness of already being successful knows exactly what to do. It knows precisely what actions to take. It attracts the right circumstances, the right people, the right opportunities. But you must first occupy that state. Let us now address what many find most challenging: maintaining this new state of consciousness when your external world has not yet caught up with your inner assumption. This is where most people falter, where they allow the evidence of their senses to pull them back into the consciousness of lack. Remember this eternal truth: the outer world must conform to your inner assumptions, but it does so in its own time and in what often appears to be a natural way. While you're waiting for the outer manifestation, you must maintain the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. Let me share with you what I mean by persistence in assumption. When you wake each morning, your first thoughts often determine the tone of your entire day. Instead of waking to thoughts of what you lack or what you need to achieve, wake to the consciousness of already being successful. Feel it as naturally as you feel the pillow beneath your head. Many of you ask, but Neville, what about when things go wrong? What about when circumstances seem to contradict my assumption? Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, for this is crucial. Circumstances have no power to alter your state of consciousness unless you give them that power. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, that is the time to intensify your feeling of already being what you desire to be. Remember, the outer world is only reflecting your past assumptions. Your present assumption, if persisted in, will become your future fact. Consider this: every moment of your day, you are either strengthening your new state of consciousness or falling back into the old state of lack. Your inner conversations, your reactions to events, your feelings about yourself, these are either confirming your new state or contradicting it. Let me give you a specific example. When you receive a bill in the mail, do you immediately fall into the consciousness of lack, thinking, how will I pay this? Or do you maintain the consciousness of abundance, knowing that as a successful person, all your needs are met with ease? Your reaction in such moments reveals your true state of consciousness. This is why I tell you, the one thing you must stop doing is allowing external circumstances to determine your internal state. Your internal state must be maintained regardless of external evidence. This is the art of living from the end. Think about this: success is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens from you. It is the outer expression of an inner conviction. When you truly live in the consciousness of being successful, success becomes as natural as breathing. Many of you have been taught to set goals, to make plans, to take action. But I tell you, before all of these, you must first establish the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. For your goals, plans, and actions will then spring from this new state of consciousness, carrying with them the power of fulfillment. Let me share with you a profound secret about manifestation. The world is not responding to your wants, your needs, or your wishes. It is responding to your state of consciousness. When you live in the consciousness of lack, saying, I want success, you are actually manifesting more wanting, not more success. Now let us discuss what I consider to be the most vital aspect of this teaching: the role of faith in maintaining your new state of consciousness. But when I speak of faith, I do not mean blind belief or hoping for the best. I speak of faith as the substance of things hoped, for the evidence of things not yet seen in the external world. Consider this profound truth. Faith is nothing more than loyalty to your unseen assumption. When you assume the consciousness of being successful and persist in that assumption despite all external evidence to the contrary, you are exercising true faith. Let me tell you something that few understand about the nature of faith. Faith is not believing that something will happen in the future. Faith is knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore must manifest in your experience. This is why I tell you that imagination creates reality. Many of you struggle with maintaining your assumption because you're constantly looking for evidence in the external world. But I tell you, the evidence appears after the assumption, never before. Your task is to remain faithful to your assumption until it hardens into fact. Think about this. Every time you say, I'll believe it when I see it, you are living in direct opposition to the law of consciousness. The correct attitude is, I'll see it because I believe it. This is the true meaning of faith. When you wake in the morning and your external world shows no sign of your assumed success, that is the moment to intensify your faith. Instead of allowing the external to shake your conviction, let every contradiction strengthen your resolve to maintain your new state of consciousness. Let me share with you a practical technique for maintaining your faith. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself slipping back into the consciousness of lack, stop and ask yourself this question: how would I be thinking and feeling right now if I were already expressing the success I desire? This simple question will bring you back to your desired state of consciousness. But remember, this is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about assuming the natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. Consider how a truly successful person thinks and feels. They don't wake up wondering if success will come to them. They don't go through their day seeking success. They live, move, and have their being in the consciousness of success. This must become your new normal. Many of you have created habits of thought and feeling that perpetuate the consciousness of lack. Every time you say, I can't afford it, it's too difficult, I'm not ready, you are strengthening these habits. These must be replaced with new habits that spring from your assumed state of success. Let me tell you something profound about habits of consciousness. They can be changed in an instant by assumption. The moment you assume a new state of consciousness, you have changed. The persistence of that change depends entirely on your loyalty to the new state. Let us now explore what happens in the interval between your assumption and its manifestation in the physical world. This interval is where most people falter, where they allow doubt to creep in and return to the old state of consciousness. Remember this. The interval is not a period of waiting, it is a period of gestation. Just as a seed planted in the ground requires time to grow into a visible plant, your assumption requires time to grow into a visible manifestation. But the seed does not doubt. It simply grows according to law. Many of you ask, how long must I maintain this new consciousness before I see results? This is the voice of doubt, the voice that would pull you back into the consciousness of lack. Time is not a factor in the operation of consciousness. The only factor is the intensity and persistence of your assumption. Consider this: every moment you spend wondering when your desire will manifest is a moment spent in the consciousness of not having it. Every moment you spend checking to see if it's working is a moment of doubt. These moments of doubt are like continually digging up a seed to see if it's growing. Let me share with you the secret of perfect faith. Live as though your assumption is already fact. When you truly assume the consciousness of being successful, you no longer worry about when or how it will manifest. You simply live from that state, knowing that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in your world. Think about this. The outer world is nothing more than a delayed reflection of your inner assumptions. What you are experiencing now is the result of past assumptions. What you will experience tomorrow is being determined by your consciousness today. Many of you struggle with what appears to be failure or setback. But I tell you, there is no such thing as failure when you understand the law of consciousness. What appears as failure is simply the passing away of an old state of consciousness. It is making way for the new state you have assumed. Let me tell you something profound about the nature of success. It is not a series of achievements or acquisitions. It is a state of consciousness that, once truly assumed, expresses itself in countless ways in your external world. When you live in the consciousness of success, success becomes your natural experience. Consider how different your life would be if you never again lived in the consciousness of lack. If you never again said, I can't, I need, I want. If you lived completely and consistently in the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. This is the challenge I leave with you tonight. Stop doing the one thing that pushes success away. Stop living in the consciousness of lack. Begin now to live in the consciousness of fulfillment. Let every thought, every feeling, every inner conversation spring from the assumption that you are already what you desire to be. Remember this eternal truth. The world is yourself pushed out. Change your concept of self, and you change your world. There is no other way. All things exist in consciousness, and it is from consciousness that all things appear. Your task is simple. Though it may not be easy, assume the consciousness of being successful now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. For now is the only time there is. And now is when your assumptions are creating your future. I leave you with this final thought. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you express from a state of consciousness. The consciousness of lack perpetuates lack. The consciousness of success perpetuates success. Choose this day which consciousness you will live from. For in the end, there is only one cause behind all effects, one source of all manifestation, consciousness. And you are that consciousness individualized as you. The power is within you. The choice is yours. The time is now. Test this law. Prove it to yourself. For in the testing lies your freedom. And in the proving lies your transformation. Go now and live in the assumption that you are already that which you desire to be. And watch as your world transforms to reflect your new state of consciousness. The one thing you must stop doing is waiting to be successful. For success is not a future state to be achieved, it is a present state to be assumed. Assume it now, live from it now, be it now. For what you assume, you become. And now, knowing this truth, knowing that the power is within you, knowing that your consciousness creates your reality, go forth and be what you desire to be. For in this knowing lies your freedom. And in this freedom lies your power. Test it, prove it, live it. For this is the law, and this is the way. Good night.